This vlog is sponsored by The Specials.
This storm is coming like a ghost town. All the clubs are being closed down. This place is coming like a ghost town. Bands won't play no more. Too much fighting on the dance floor.
Run the ting. Greetings one and all, this is Lloyd Brown and welcome social media family to my vlog. Who would have thought 38 years later that song would be relevant right about now? I went shopping last night and it looked like a scene from 28 days later. I kid you not, I couldn't recognize my ends at all. But anyway, hope all is well. Hope all is good on your side, hope all is blessed and less stressful. So here we are, part 2 of my creating a song for free series. I'm not gonna go into it too deep. I'm just gonna basically just manipulate the plugins and the instruments in a simplistic way so you can follow what I'm doing in order to get the sound that I would like in my recordings. The first part, I was talking specifically about the drums. Now I'm gonna talk about the rest of the instrumentation. So let's get into it. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, and welcome to my project in Cubase Pro 10. And in the last part of the series, I went into relative depth as to how I manipulate my drum sound. So I was just concentrating on the drums and how I more or less program my drums, okay? And how I export them to audio files from the MIDI files that were basically created in product. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually go into the whole of the instrumentations and obviously start off with the drums, but most importantly my application as to how I treat the sounds. Now the rule of thumb for me is basically making sure that all of the instruments are clean. There's no muddiness, and when I say muddiness, it basically means unwanted frequencies of each track. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play the hi-hat. I'm going to solo each instrument as I go along. And that was the untreated sound, okay? So going back and going into the edit channel settings, this is what I basically did. So there's the low end, right? And the high end, which is basically that. So it's the low cut and the high cut that you basically got to toggle to more or less fit where the nucleus of the sound is. If I play it again, so this is how it basically sounds raw and untreated. So when I adjust the low end, it's just sweeping up and mopping up all of the unwanted dirty frequencies at the bottom and keeping the nucleus of that particular instrument, which is the hi-hat, which normally plays high, you know, the frequencies are very high. And then with the high cuts, it can be adjusted to taste, right? And that's how you more or less clean the sound before you even put an EQ on it, right? So these are the 4 band EQs. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. So all I needed was to accentuate the high ends just a little bit. I mean, I could even bring that down a touch. Oops, that's going across. And that's basically is that. So it's the same principle across all of the instruments. Not necessarily all of the instruments per se, because you might want a little bit of grit on some instruments. So I'm just gonna solo them one by one. I'm gonna put in the tambourine. If you look in the channel settings, I took a lot of low end off and accentuated it slightly with the second band. Brought it up like 5.3 decibels. Now it's not an exact science, you know what I mean? It's just how your ears hear it, okay? Right, so I'm gonna put in the triangle. Oh, and the tambourine is panned to the left, just to give it some separation. So the triangle is gonna counterbalance that, and it's gonna be panned to the right. Go into the channel settings. Nothing at all. Listen to it again. Okay, so I really wanted the triangle to sound full, even though it's a very tinny instrument. I just wanted to give that the body that it already has. I didn't need to add anything to that. Going down the track again. Right, so here's the shaker. And I've played the shaker sporadically to give it a live feel. There you go. And that's it. Okay, so go into the edit channel settings. So I took off some bottom end. Left a little headroom for the bottom end as well. So the gauge-on, the gadgeon, whatever you want to call it, it's like a box, a percussive box that you sit down on and you play. Right, feature that. Brought the volume down a little bit. So you didn't even put anything on that. So like I said, it's not really a exact science as to taking off low end and taking off high end on every single track. If it sounds good and it doesn't hurt your ears, on balance with everything else, you don't need to do anything to it. Right, next track is the detuned tom. Let's see what we got here. So I took off high end and I accentuated it by putting some EQ on the third band of the equalizer. Alright, so bearing in mind there's no effects on these instruments at all, it's just to get the clean sound. Alright, so let's open up the congas. Go in edit channel settings. So I took off the high end of that and not a lot of low cut, and accentuated it with the bottom end, band 1, and the mid, band 2. Wind chimes, I don't think I've done anything to that. Let's have a look. Oh, okay. So I took off a lot of low end, yeah, because I can. Right, so let's just take that off. Right, the octoband is coming up now. There you go, took off some bottom end, some high end. So it's actually highlighting the nucleus of the sound. And there's no stray bits of frequencies mudding up the track. Alright? The ride cymbal, in fact let's go back again. The ride cymbal, channel settings, some low end down, some high end down, accentuated it with band 3 of the equalizer. Okay? So it's only highlighting the nucleus of the sound. Rim shot. Right. With the rim shot, that was the only instrument that I put any effects on. So if you look here, I've just put some reverb on it, which is the H reverb. It's on the other screen. Let me just scroll it over to this screen. Right, so basically that's the H reverb from Waves. Something that fits the timing of the song, or the timing of the beat rather. So the rim shot was the only thing that I put an effect on because I just wanted to hear that sound, alright? Okay, so going to the kick. Okay, edit channel settings. Okay. So as we go down the instruments, you can see what I've done, what I've enhanced, what I've left alone. Okay. Right, so next we're going to go into the instruments. With the other instruments, I applied the same process, and none of them, I repeat, have any effects on them at all. It is just to clean the tracks before I put any effects on them. So let's start off with the acoustic guitar. Right, so high end, low end. So high end and low end taken off. Took the low end of the EQ, accentuated the high end on the EQ. But of course it's just to my taste, alright? Right, so that is the acoustic guitar. Right, so let's go on to something that I call the gangster whine. Oh, I forgot. Right, this is another instrument that I put an effect on. I do beg your pardon. Yes, I put an effect on this, and I'm going to show you what the effect is. Going to the channel settings. Okay. And what I done, took off some low end, took off some high end. So let's play it. Okay, so there you go. So what I had actually done was that I added an auto pan effect, which is called Pancake 2. And when you edit that, you go into this other screen, bring it over here. Right. Pancake 2 is basically an auto panner where the sound goes from left to right, and you can customize how fast the sound travels from one speaker to the other, basically. Depending on the pace of the instrumentation, the pace of the play, the pace of the melody with the instrument, I more or less fitted it accordingly to the pan movement of the instrument. And this will give you a visual representation as to how the track moves. Okay, I'll just scroll it down a little bit so you can see everything. So that line basically represents the movement. So as it goes down to the left and to the right. Sorry, it goes from the middle to the left, to the right, to the middle. And that's basically the effect that I have on the gangster whine. The gangster whine. Take that out. Okay, the marimba. It goes a little something like this. Right, let's go into the edit channel settings. So you can see the pattern of cleaning that I've done with each track. All right. I've just kept the nucleus of the sound and modified it to my taste, to my ears. All right. Okay, so that's that. Right, so now we're gonna go into the Rhodes. Love the sound of the Rhodes. And it goes like this. Okay. So let's go into the channel settings. See, no low end cutoff, no high end cutoff, but actually bringing it up 8 decibels, 8.5 decibels on band 3 of the equalizer. And just took down the volume a little bit. And that's it for that. You know, it's like cooking. Mixing is like cooking. You just add certain things, you take away certain things, you leave certain things as they are. You know, that is exactly the same principle. Right, so let's go into the piano, which goes like this. There you go. Kind of similar to the Rhodes. Okay. Right. And now let's go into the bass, which goes a little something like this. Right, so let's go into this bad boy. Edit channel settings. Took off a massive chunk of high end and accentuated it with some bottom end on band 1 of the equalizer. Okay, so that's that. Right, now what else we got? Right, so we got the brass section. Okay, so I used the trumpet, mute trumpet, alto sax and trombone. So I'm going to play them all because you already know the process. But what I did was actually pan them. So I panned the trumpet to the left, I panned the mute trumpet to the right, panned the alto sax to the right and the trombone to the left. So with each instrument I took off the necessary high end, low end and EQ'd it, just like how I've done with all the other instruments. This is what you will get, ladies and gentlemen. As the crowd waits in anticipation, it goes something like this. And once again. And the inspiration for that line came from a Spike Lee movie called Mo Better Blues. That was the inspiration, believe it or not. So with all of those tracks in place and EQ'd, with all the low ends and the necessary high ends basically taken out, you'll find that the track sounds a lot more cleaner, and that's before you even put any effects on the tracks when you mix it even further. Right, so let's just take out everything and I'm just gonna give you a small little piece of the tune. Right, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here is the rough, balanced, dry-ish mix of the demo. And it goes something like this. That's it. That's all you're gonna get. I'm being over generous with that alone. Anyway, it's back to the studio. And there you have it, the fullness of how I created this rhythm for one of my colleagues, who I'm gonna give this track to him for free, absolutely free. Just to pay it forward, just to simply pay it forward. All right, so it's with that, I'm gonna bid you guys adieu. I hope you full enjoyed the 2 parts of the tutorial as to how I create the rhythms, and I hope that it serves as some kind of inspiration to you at this time of isolation and hopefully creation. So with that, I'm going to bid you an adieu, and as always, you done know the coup. People, please abstain from foolishness, even your own, even my own. And until we link up next time, people, stay blessed. I'm out of here. I'm gone. Laters. Abstain from foolishness.